What's up, guys? This is Star Rain with another one of your random videos. Today we have a Snorlax 151 box. And this is all, so if you can see on the back of it. It comes with dice and damage coins. And looks like some sleeves. Let's take a look, shall we? The code's already there? Okay. I guess this is what the sleeves look like. They're cute. Okay. And then a bunch of energies, of course, for your battlers out there. Comes with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Comes with 9. Really only gonna open a couple because I'm gonna open the other couple on Instagram as well. So this is what we have. Okay.
Did you know, in the first draft of Mewtwo Strikes Back, Mew could talk, and it was actually kind of a jerk. In one of his Japanese blog posts we translated, the movie's head writer Takeshi Shudo said, "There were lots of points where Mew told Mewtwo, 'After all, you're nothing but a copy.' This triggered Mewtwo's inferiority complex and a burning hatred towards the original Pokemon. These lines were meant to needle at Mewtwo and defend its ego. It was like a drama where they debated Mewtwo's right to exist. Mew's personality is violent and unpredictable, and yet it looks innocent, cute somehow, and doesn't appear to be threatening. So in a way, it's both cruel and effective for Mew to incessantly chip away at Mewtwo's self-esteem." Shudo goes on to say they had a hard time making Mew's voice sound both innocent and offensive, so they just changed it so Mew just flies around looking cute saying its own name. But even though it can't talk in the final script, it's still just as much of a jerk. Shudo made that clear on his personal blog, saying, "I don't think Mew's lines in the first draft were wasted. What Mew wanted to say was a copy's just a copy. I can't tolerate the existence of copies made by humans. Both Mew and Mewtwo feel anger towards him."
Did you hear that? Okay, so in the movie, I guess Mew and Mewtwo were, of Mewtwo Strikes Back, it says that Mew and Mewtwo were conversating, I guess, near the, and then Mew was like, "You're just a copy." But, like, and I can't tolerate what humans created, without their permission of, like, the connection between them. But, like, okay, I understand that, but at the same time, it's almost like Mew is blaming the creation for being created. You can't do that. Anyways, that made me mad. We'll listen to the rest of it.
Humans for creating a connection between them without their consent. I think that first draft was necessary to make sure the director and staff understood both Pokemon's motivations. So,
motivation or
if you've been
not,
thinking of Mew as sweet and innocent, you thought wrong. That's just its soft exterior hiding a, quote,
and look at what
cruel,
they put on the
violent,
front,
and unpredictable personality. In another blog entry we translated, Shudo says the first Pokemon movie was originally planned as a follow-up to an anime episode he planned to write himself that would have established Mewtwo's backstory and a confrontation against Ash. That's why the movie's called Mewtwo Strikes Back. It's a revenge story for what happened in the TV show. That said, they actually came up with the name of the film before anything else. Shudo said, "According to the Japanese TV schedule, Mewtwo is supposed to have already appeared on TV by the time the film releases. He's supposed to have faced off with the anime protagonist once already. Maybe the protagonist even beat Mewtwo somehow. So let's make it a story about Mewtwo's revenge." One of the Star Wars movies was called The Empire Strikes Back, which Shudo thought sounded cool. So that's what they titled the first Pokemon movie. Pre-production was getting started, but soon after, a Porygon episode with flashing lights gave thousands of Japanese kids seizures in an incident now known as the Pokemon Shock. Due to health concerns, the Pokemon anime got pulled off Japanese TV for 4 months.
That's my rib?
And by the time it returned to the airwaves, the writer's initial plans were so far behind schedule that the episode with Mewtwo's backstory never got made. To be clear, Mewtwo did appear in a few episodes that aired a few months after the movie came out, but these were not the episodes Shudo originally intended. That one never even got written, and the reason Mewtwo is striking back was changed from getting revenge on Ash to getting revenge on Mewtwo's creators.
It's neither attack or a declaration of war.
When Shudo was still in the early stages of writing the movie, the higher-ups at the studio hired Masachika Ichimura to play the voice of Mewtwo. Ichimura was the actor who played the Phantom of the Opera in the Japanese theater production, and Shudo was starstruck and super excited to hear he signed on to the film. With that in mind, he wrote Mewtwo to basically be a Pokemon version of the Phantom, having a dark past that leads him to isolate himself from society. Controlling, secretive, intelligent, and seen by the outside world as scary and evil, even though in his heart of hearts he's really just tortured by his own existence, an overwhelming sense of solitude. Shudo even gave Mewtwo a castle to mirror the Phantom's opera house. As Ichimura was getting in character to voice Mewtwo,
I keep naming the weaknesses of the
Phantom of the Opera, right? Shudo
I like
nodded
that
and
it's
whispered, "You're exactly like the Phantom of the Opera." Most fans outside Japan have never heard Ichimura's performance as Mewtwo, although it's really quite good and you should definitely check it out. But him being cast had a profound and lasting influence on the series. Not just in the movie, but how fans around the world perceive Mewtwo to this day. With nothing but his appearance in Gen 1 to base the character on, Shudo could have very easily written Mewtwo as a comic book supervillain, or a monster who couldn't even talk. But thanks to the Phantom of the Opera and how it inspired Shudo, Mewtwo will always be known as dark, brooding, and isolated. Speaking of Mewtwo's castle, in Mewtwo Strikes Back, it's in a movie-exclusive location called New Island. But where exactly that is in the Pokemon world is never explained. However, some Japanese books published a couple years later featured a map of the Orange Islands, which revealed New Island is actually southwest of Cinnabar. In 2020, a scientist named Yun Xiao discovered 3 new species of beetle in Australia. He named them Binburum articuno, Binburum moltres, and Binburum zapdos. We got in contact with Yun to ask about them, and he told us, "I always feel it's nice to connect popular culture to biotaxonomy to raise awareness for conservation of the amazing diversity of our Earth's ecosystem. And I really appreciate the biodiversity of the Pokemon world, which is actually based on real-world diversity. When we identified 3 new species at one time, an idea of 3 legendary Pokemon who always appear in each generation came to mind. And as my first contact with Pokemon, the first generation's the one that left the deepest impression. That's why I chose these 3 birds. I won't say playing Pokemon is the only thing that inspired me to become a biotaxonomist,
if you guys want to know where this background noise is coming from,
apparently these beetles were sitting in a museum since the 90s unidentified until you discovered them. It's
all
unknown
capital
where they were actually found in the wild,
DYKG
so it seems
clips.
fitting
It's
that
on
beetles
YouTube.
named after legendary
In case you
Pokemon
want
are
to hear the rest
classified
of
as
it.
habitat unknown. Their rarity was another
I don't
reason
take
you
credit
named
for
them
any of
after
this
the bird
background
trio.
noise.
He told us they're, quote, as rare as legendary Pokemon.
Go check them
In
out.
fact, they're so rare that video of live specimens don't even exist. All there is this single photograph.
Let me start
We
it.
also want to point out that in red, blue,
all
and
capital
green,
and
all
then
legendary birds had 8
capital
toes,
C and then
except
like
Zapdos,
spelt
who
clips.
only had 6. But later on, it sprouted 2 more toes in a stealth update, making it equal with Articuno and Moltres. Speaking of early designs, the November 1996 issue of Korokoro magazine was the first time Pokemon Blue was ever announced.
Legendaries,
And the
I
magazine
opened
showed
one
off
earlier.
some beta sprites that were planned to appear in blue, but ended up
That's in my
being
YouTube,
replaced
on
at
my
the
YouTube
last minute,
videos.
including one for Mewtwo.
I might post this on YouTube too. I'm not even sure if this is too long to post on TikTok
Not only
or
in Japanese blue,
Instagram.
but the versions of red and blue that released internationally. This unused blue sprite for Mew was discovered in a 2019 leak of prototype assets. But a couple even more interesting sprites were discovered in leaks dating back to Gen 2's development, revealing a couple early designs for Celebi. The first is pretty clearly modeled after the Native American fertility god Kokopelli, who's known for being a bit of a trickster. With origins dating back over 1,000 years, Kokopelli presided over childbirth and agriculture, and also represented the spirit of music, and playing his flute was said to chase away winter and usher in spring. While a little less obvious, the later Celebi appears Kokopelli inspired as well, and displays a strong Native American motif. Game Freak never commented on these leaked sprites, but fans have speculated the designs were scrapped possibly to avoid controversy. Kokopelli was primarily a god of the Hopi tribe, who still exists today, but were mostly wiped out during colonization. And Game Freak might have realized that turning their god into a Pokemon wasn't the best idea. Or they may have simply decided to take Celebi in a different direction. Although they never talked about those beta sprites, Game Freak has talked a bit about Celebi's development. Junichi Masuda wrote on his blog that they decided it would have a nature theme. Not much else was officially explained until 2018, when an interview was posted on Game Freak's official YouTube channel. It's in Japanese, so we translated it into English. In the video, Hironobu Yoshida explains that he was a new Pokemon designer brought on
Alright
for
guys,
Gen 2,
that's
and his
good
first
for
task
now.
was creating Wobbuffet,
Thank you so much for
Dunsparce,
watching.
and
Don't
Celebi.
forget to like,
Presumably,
comment,
Celebi's nature setting
follow,
was part of the design
subscribe.
specifications handed down to him. In the video, he says, "So when
Yeah.
I got to work, I realized Celebi was at the bottom of the
thank you
Pokédex
guys.
list. I asked why that
I'll
was,
see you in the
and
next
they told
video.
me it was going to
Bye.
be a legendary Pokemon.